What's good, Motor City Sports Talk? We in the building. Probably gonna do one more upload to be a Pistons video, I would believe. But right now we talking about the feud between Chris Webber and Jalen Rose, the Michigan Wolverine, old talk. And it heated up today. You know, when an interview came out on Sway in the Morning, that on the Get On Up show that Jalen Rose on ESPN, where Chris Webber said that Jalen Rose sold out, you know, by doing the 30 for 30 documentary, and by him selling out, that's how he got a seat with ESPN at the media table, you know. And that's how I took it, you know. Basically what he said, you know, should have kept his integrity as a man and stay hush about the University of Michigan situation, about the Fab Five. But if anybody that talked to Jalen before that documentary, he would tell you that Ed Martin was a good man. And the reason that the Ed Martin stuff ended up coming out is because he had a policy, I believe it was, and correct me if I'm wrong, that, you know, he paid for shoes and everything for teams at St. Cecilia and all across the city, and took care of people's parents and stuff of that nature. But if you made it to the NBA, you just had to pay him back. If you didn't make it, he didn't want the money back. And obviously we know Chris Webber made it, and he refused to pay Ed Martin back. And I don't know why people do that. Same thing with the Reggie Bush situation at USC. His family took all this money from his agent. When he made it to the NFL, he signed with another agent, and the agent said, "Just, you know what, we keep this on the hush. Just give me my money back that your family took." And Reggie Bush said, "No," and he got stripped of his Heisman and NCAA titles and everything else they earned there. And these dudes make all this millions of dollars, and guys that help them out, when they come back to collect, they don't want to pay them. And it's sad, you know. And that's basically, you know, Ed Martin, you had to do what he had to do to Chris Webber in the University of Michigan, or however that went down. You know, Chris Webber goes on Sway in the Morning and say that was you know, maybe if I can find the link, I'll put the full link in there. We can see the full video with Jalen Rose's reaction. We get into that in a minute. But Chris Webber basically said that he sold out, man. You know, and you know that's what the Fab Five was about. It was about, you know, the media hating on them, and you know them sticking together. And he said basically Jalen Rose opened that door for the media to come into the Fab Five, and that's why he didn't want to do the Fab Five documentary. I believe everybody else appeared in the documentary as well, except for Chris Webber. He said they haven't talked in over 18, 20 years or something, him and Chris Webber said. And he said, that's my brother, but he said they don't have a relationship. Just based off that whole University of Michigan situation. You know, and Jalen Rose, you know, he took a whole segment out to Get On Up on ESPN, which is the only reason I watch the show. It's because of Jalen Rose. He took a segment out and said that he didn't sell out nothing. He said, you know, it was about, you know, shining light on the situation and shining awareness on the situation and getting the truth out there and helping Coach Fisher get into the Hall of Fame. That's what the situation was about. You know, and look back on it a little bit. Look at the college game today. All them reports came out from the FBI investigation, all these players taking money for pay and these different universities, and it was big names, Mike Krzyzewski, Sean Miller, John Calipari, who I like a lot. And, you know, it was a fact that these dudes paid players to play at their school, and guess what? They swept it under the rug and it's gone. But for that same thing that Ed Martin did for Chris Webber and Jalen Rose, whatever the situation was, this team got hit with the death blow or the death penalty, whatever you want to say. Pretty much being banned, and the banners took them down and all of that. But the same thing they just swept under the rug this year, where people just tend to forget and the media push what they want to push. All them universities been exonerated pretty much, you know. They got a G-Pass. These guys can get a G-Pass, and it sounded like it was far worse, you know, what was going on. You know, but the NCAA moves to beat their own drum. They wanted to get the Fab Five regardless. They didn't like the baggy pants, the bald heads, the black socks, and how they revolutionized the game. There's nobody that had an impact on the college game more than the Fab Five. They were trendsetters. Even if they didn't win a championship, they were trendsetters. You know, maybe Chris Webber didn't want to come on and talk about that North Carolina game where he called a timeout and he didn't have one. And he traveled like 2 or 3 times. You know, but Jalen goes on to say that, you know, he didn't sell himself out. You know, people kept asking him. And he wanted to shine light and awareness on the situation and for Coach Fisher to get in. And he said, I ain't got to sell my integrity or sell myself out for no media spot. He said, I'm not cut like that. He said, I'm going to always keep it 1,000. He said, fuck 100. He said 1,000. Excuse my language. He said, I'm always keep it 1,000. He says, but Chris Webber, I heard he got a documentary, got a book coming out. You know, now he want to speak on the situation. Now it's convenient for him. And he's trying to make a Hall of Fame push. So it makes sense now. And I'm a guy that like Jalen Rose, and I'll explain that in a second. But it makes sense now because all of a sudden, a couple years back, he showed up to the national championship game with Trey Burke and them. He showed up. Then now he accepts Michigan's John Harbaugh's honorary captain thing. Now he wants to open up and speak on situations, speak about Jalen Rose, talk about the document, talk about the situation. He's doing all that, not only for a Hall of Fame push, I guess it will be, but for some money and some clout. Seriously. Because all these years have passed, you've been retired for quite some time. You didn't talk about it. You know what I'm saying? He didn't speak on it. He didn't speak on none of this. He was hush-hush. And Jalen Rose felt some type of way about Ed Martin because he knew Ed was legitimately a good guy, according to him. Helped out many people. And he alluded to this in an interview. He said Ed Martin helped his family out. He still don't want to admit to it. He knows the truth. But now Chris Webber's want to come back out because for a personal gain, for a Hall of Fame push, for his documentary, for his book that Jalen Rose said he got coming out. Now some truth is coming out. Now he want to do the media rounds about this. And last time I checked, he said Jalen Rose sold out to be in the media. Well, I mean, don't you call games on TNT? And sometimes don't you sit on NBA TV and TNT and chop it up with Shaq and Kenny and Jet Smith and Ernie Johnson and analyze the game and aren't you a part of the media? Ain't that something? Throwing rocks when you live in a glass house. See, Jalen Rose a buck. See, guys that's from Detroit, I believe Howard Osley, the old point guard from the Utah Jazz, he went to Southwestern. Derek Mason, Tennessee Titans, Baltimore Ravens, receiver went to Mumford. Chris Webber went to Detroit Country Day. Don't do nothing for the city. Nothing. Don't come back and do nothing. Believe Jimmy Walker, Jalen Rose's estranged daddy is from the Metro Detroit area. Don't do nothing. You don't see him come back and do nothing for the city. Jalen Rose started a whole charter school in the Detroit city, in the city of Detroit, to do better for the kids. Jerome Bettis always come back and give back to the community. See, that's the thing about Detroit. A lot of these dudes making in Detroit, and they don't come back and do nothing for Detroit. Detroit don't really have no solid fraternity of pro players or guys that have made it that come back and give back. The guy that bought the Weather Channel, the black guy, he's from Detroit. I don't hear about none of these guys coming back inspiring the youth and making the rounds around Detroit and trying to inspire people and to do stuff in the community. You don't. And Jalen Rose is one of the very, very few, him and Jerome Bettis off the top of my head, and sorry if I'm forgetting people, they one of the very, very few who actually comes back and does improvements in the neighborhood. You don't see nobody else, Chris Rock, claiming that he's from Detroit, come back and do nothing. I ain't seen Eminem do nothing. So I'm going to ride with Jalen Rose, man. Because I know he a thorough guy. He a honey guy. I mean, Chris Webber already showed through this whole situation. He got snake tendencies up and down. His skin is probably made of snake skin. And when has he ever come back? It ain't about Michigan. It's about the city of Detroit. When does these dudes ever come back like Jalen and Jerome Bettis do and give back? It don't take much. You'll be surprised the famous people that's from Detroit that don't give a hell about our community and come back and inspire our youth and come back and do business ventures and try to do nothing. Nothing. And Jalen Rose is one of the proud and few. I'm happy to call Jalen Rose a Detroiter. Chris Webber, not so happy. Clown. He sucks on TNT anyway. He sucks calling basketball games. I can't stand him. Can't stand his voice. Love his basketball game. Loved him when I was younger. But now looking at the situation older, he a clown, man. He don't come back and do nothing for the city, man. And I hate to clown somebody like him, but he a clown. You know what I'm saying? Unless I'm not unaware of what he's doing, I'm pretty much aware of a lot of the fundraisers and things they come back and do in the city. When you make it, you're supposed to come back and inspire, and you come back and give back to the youth. That happens too far in between in Detroit, and Jalen Rose is bridging that gap, and Jerome Bettis and whoever else is out there doing their thing. But definitely appreciate it. I'm going to see if I can find a full interview link, which I should. It shouldn't be a problem. Motor City Sports Talk. Most definitely appreciate everybody for sharing, and subscribing, and hitting the bell icon. We upload and go live. We can go live way more in the season. Like I said, we got the radio show. I'm closing the deal on that. Getting my equipment ready. Probably once or twice a week after Lions games, and to wrap it up, for the week as well, and predict the next football game. So I definitely appreciate everybody, man, for helping the channel get where it's got. 1,000 subscribers, well under a year, and I took 2 or 3 months off. That's mad love, and I'm telling you, we got to get rid of them old media guys that's hating on the Lions and push this new media, man. Get behind these new this new YouTube platform for Detroit media. Much blessings to everybody. I definitely appreciate everybody, man. We pushed past 1,000. We're trying to push to 1,200. Let's keep it going. Let's keep the traction going. Thank you. Much love. Peace. We gone.